Despite James Gunn's Superman breaking records at the box office, it seems that Zack Snyder's Man of Steel did it better in one aspect. Welcome to Stats In. If you're just joining us, please subscribe and don't forget to turn on notifications bell for more video. Please like, share and subscribe for more. When Superman started, I immediately noticed that Gunn was using the same thing that he had been using in almost all of his movies: pop songs. From the 70s and the 80s to more modern ones, Gunn has a knack for adding pop songs in every movie he directs. Just look at the Guardians of the Galaxy franchise. The title is not lying. I did watch James Gunn's Superman 3 times to appreciate and compare the things that Gunn had to offer with his take on the iconic character of Man of Steel. From the cinematography to who understands the character better, I watched it once for enjoyment, a second time as a wannabe film critic, and the third time because I had nothing better to do. Well, comparing Zack Snyder and James Gunn's movies, we do have a winner between the two, James Gunn, by the way. But there is one aspect where Zack Snyder's Man of Steel was able to beat the DCU flick. Adding salt to the wound, Snyder beat James Gunn at something which the director is particularly known for in his movies. The movie starts with a reworked version of John Williams' iconic Superman main theme, which felt like a familiar touch to something new. However, as the movie progressed, several licensed songs started playing in the background. No offense to James Gunn's Spotify playlist, but it just felt better when legendary composer Hans Zimmer sat on his piano and tuned out some of the finest tracks and score that redefined Henry Cavill's Man of Steel. Hans Zimmer's Flight, Look to the Stars, and What Are You Going to Do When You Are Not Saving the World are some of the notable pieces of music that set up the grim and darker tone of Man of Steel that Zack Snyder was dearly hoping for. With that being said, however, something was missing from the James Gunn flick that I couldn't quite get. Upon my third watching, I realized that although Superman's music was good, it wasn't as good as Zack Snyder's Man of Steel. The iconic score by Hans Zimmer, Henry Cavill's first flight as the Man of Steel, and even the fight scenes were truly amazing in Zack Snyder's Man of Steel, and that is what was missing from the James Gunn flick. Oh, you think Superman's music was better than Man of Steel's? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Even in the fight scenes, the intense and grave music played a key role in upping the stakes because every scene felt like the final moment for Henry Cavill's Man of Steel. On the other hand, James Gunn's choice for music and songs felt more like a temporary fight that will end up with Superman winning the battle. Although fans weren't happy about the darker take that Zack Snyder had for Man of Steel, one thing I have to admit is that Hans Zimmer indeed knows what he was doing with the score. Despite being known for his choice of songs in his movies, which are always good, Zack Snyder beat James Gunn at his own game with Hans Zimmer as the music composer. James Gunn and Zack Snyder in one frame? My brain is already directing the ultimate DCU crossover, and if this isn't a tease, I'm suing for damage. Welcome to Stats In. If you're just joining us, please subscribe and don't forget to turn on notifications bell for more video. Please like, share and subscribe for more. That's right. When I saw James Gunn post an adorable photo with the one and only Zack Snyder, my mind was working overtime to come up with a logical conclusion as to what was going on. And while their cute little photo could be nothing more than, well, a photo, I sure hope it has something to do with a certain project in James Gunn's roster. James Gunn woke up today and decided, let's break the internet. The filmmaker has been in the business for a few years now, and after giving his fans one of the best superhero franchises of all time, Guardians of the Galaxy, he is now all set to take our breaths away with the upcoming Superman starring David Corenswet. However, today, he was probably in the mood to steer the conversations away from Superman and toward an unlikely duo, him and Zack Snyder. Of course, Snyder's excellence is not unknown to the world, but the praise coming from Gunn just hits differently. Two separate universes have collided in real life after James Gunn posted a photo with the former DC director Zack Snyder. Not only were the two geniuses all smiles for the camera, but Gunn also had some pleasant words for the fellow filmmaker. Stating how it's always a pleasure to meet Snyder, he called him a consummate filmmaker and a doubly consummate storyteller. Think about it, the Authority isn't your average, goody-two-shoes superhero team. They are brutal, morally gray, and they get things done. As Gunn once said, it doesn't matter if they have to kill people or change governments, they're gonna do what it takes to make a change in the world, via Collider. And if you take a moment to think about it, there isn't a better duo than Snyder and Gunn to bring this team to life. Snyder's signature aesthetic, dark, gritty, and unapologetically intense, combined with Gunn's writing style that adds raw emotional weight to a story is everything the Authority could need. Anyway, coming to what this meetup could mean for DCU's future, I wholeheartedly hope that Gunn and Snyder combine their forces for the upcoming The Authority, which is a part of the superhero universe's Gods and Monsters chapter. While some of you may not even know that the two filmmakers have previously collaborated on a project, surprise, surprise, it's true. Back in 2004, Snyder made his feature directorial debut with the action horror Dawn of the Dead. While Snyder was once criticized for his dark and gritty take on superheroes in films like Man of Steel and Batman v Superman, Dawn of Justice, it is exactly what The Authority demands. Now, is this wishful thinking? Yeah, probably. But you cannot tell me that the two powerhouses won't kill it as the director-writer duo for the film. I wouldn't hear it. Coming to the collaboration, it was actually Gunn who came up with the screenplay of the film, making it the first and last time the two collaborated on something. While remakes often fail to impress the critics, Dawn of the Dead actually did pretty well for itself, earning a 77% score on Rotten Tomatoes with a critical consensus calling it a kinetic, violent, and surprisingly worthy remake of George Romero's horror classic that pays homage to the original while working on its own terms. It has been 21 years since Dawn of the Dead was released, and I honestly believe that it is time Gunn and Snyder just join hands and give fans what they're looking for, the ultimate collaboration. The film was a remake of George A. Romero's namesake original, which was released all the way back in 1978. It stars Sarah Polley, Jake Weber, and more, and is a story about a group of survivors trying to make it through a zombie apocalypse while trapped in a shopping mall. Can't go wrong with classic zombie survival stories. Despite Gunn's original choice for breaking records dropped out in favor of Zack Snyder's spiritual successor to his breakout movie. In one aspect. Welcome to Stats In. If you're just joining us, please subscribe, and don't forget to turn on notifications for more video. Please like, share, and subscribe for more. It's hard to imagine anyone other than Cena. I immediately noticed that Gunn was using the same thing that he had been using in almost all of his movies. Not only is he hilarious, pop songs, but throughout season 1 and season 2 to more modern ones, WWE superstar has showcased a lot of versatility and is now in contention for the best wrestler turned actor alongside Bautista. The title Gunn has a knack for transforming Z-list characters into beloved fan favorites to appreciate, and John Cena's Peacemaker is arguably the things that Gunn had to offer with his take on the iconic appearance on the Howard Stern Show. From the cinematography he originally wrote the character for Dave Bautista I watched in the Suicide Squad, with whom he developed a great friendship during the Guardians movies. And the third time because I had nothing better to do. Commitments to Zack Snyder's comparing Zack Snyder and James Gunn's successor to Dawn of the Dead. We do have a winner between the two. The deal to James Gunn, by the way. It was Dave Bautista. But there is a good friend of mine where Zack Snyder's Man of Steel plays Drax in Guardians of the Galaxy, and I wrote the character of Peacemaker for him, and we offered him the role. James Gunn, but he was offered two other movies is particularly known for in his movies. Although Snyder's Army of the Dead with a reworked version of John Williams' arguably iconic Superman main theme missteps, which felt like a familiar touch. Gunn made Peacemaker a household name as the movie progressed.